In addition to focusing on key macroeconomic concerns such as lower inflation, exchange rate stability, the Central Bank of Nigeria has, in the last 5 years, played a pivotal role in supporting Nigeria's economic development, given the constraints faced by the rural farmers, small and medium enterprises, and the manufacturing companies. As a result, under the leadership and support of our President Muhammadu Buhari, we have placed considerable emphasis on addressing impediments to the growth of Nigeria's agricultural and manufacturing sectors, as both sectors represent over 52% of Nigeria's gross domestic product, the GDP. If we are able to sustain their productivity gains in these sectors, it will undoubtedly translate to higher growth rate for the broader economy, real increase in rural incomes, improvements in living standards for a majority of Nigerians, and provide a quick win towards the diversification of our economy. It is no secret that the past 20 years has been very difficult for the cotton, textiles, and garment sector. Farmers and processors have had to deal with low-quality seeds, rising operating costs, and weak sales due to high energy cost of running factories, smuggling of textile goods, and poor access to finance. Smuggling of textile goods alone is also estimated to have cost the nation over $2 billion annually. Today, most of the textile factories have all stopped operations, and the workforce in Nigeria's textile industry stands at less than 20,000 people, from over 500,000 people in the last 20 years. In addition, a large proportion of our clothing materials are imported from abroad. Let me not mention names specifically. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our consultations with key stakeholders in the cotton, garment, textile subsector has necessitated the constitution of this Textile Revival Implementation Committee as a prerequisite to fixing the identified challenges in the cotton, textiles, and garment subsectors of the Nigerian economy. A consolidated approach of this magnitude will no doubt afford us economies of scale, synergy in resource utilization, and provide a holistic solution to harnessing the potentials of the CTG subsector in Nigeria. The key challenges identified that are bedeviling the CTG subsector include the following: low cotton production, poor infrastructure, power and transport, obsolescence of existing production lines, smuggling and counterfeiting, inadequate local patronage, high cost of production, multiple taxation, among others. This steering committee being inaugurated today will provide strategic leadership for this task, and it will be supported by several technical subcommittees along the following areas. A. Increased cotton production nationwide. B. Retooling and refitting of plants and machineries of existing cotton, textile, and garment firms. C. Provision of power to CTG hubs in key textile production states. D. Eradication of smuggling and dumping of foreign textile products in Nigeria. We have taken the first step in this journey with the flag off of input distribution to 100,000 cotton farmers at Katsina, cultivating over 100,000 hectares in 23 states of the Federation. We hope to resuscitate the cotton belts around nationwide and grow the value chain till the last mile of textile production in Nigeria. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we will need to set timelines for these deliverables and charge the technical committees to develop roadmaps that must be achieved within the set timelines. I'm sure we all understand the important task that is before us. Let me repeat, and you have to pardon me for repeating. There was a time when Nigeria used to produce all its textiles. In fact, textiles were being exported from Nigeria to the West African sub-region. And I think it's important for us to really try to appreciate the importance of this sector in our lives. Those of you who read elementary economics will tell you that some of the basics of life are food, clothing, and what?
Shelter.
And shelter. Clothing. If we want to really appreciate it, you can imagine 200 million people in Nigeria, right? To cover your nakedness, all of us here, requires textiles and garments sector to do so for us. And I keep saying that Nigeria remains a big market, and that is the reason people have always tried as much as possible to see how they can kill our industry, and they did. And I would like to appeal to all of us that we need to reclaim our country back. Everybody must play a role in this. And the reason we thought we should put this together, so that nobody will say that he has been excluded. No important agency of government will say he's been excluded in this. Is it the customs? Is it the immigration? Is it immigration, or is it industries, or is it power? Oh. Let me say this, gentlemen. I'm a Nigerian, number one. Number one, I'm a Nigerian. My children are Nigerians. You're a Nigerian, number one. Your children are Nigerians. How do you feel when you get into Kano market, retail market? Foreigners are retailing textiles that they smuggled and dumped into Nigeria. How do you feel about this? And we started investigating the source of how these textiles came into Nigeria. They were smuggled into this country. They didn't pass through the legitimate sources. We must stop this. We need to do it, and I say it's for our good, the good of our children, and the good of the generations yet unborn. And I want you to, tomorrow, when this has happened, you say, I thank God I stood to be counted. Please, let's try. Let's do our best. I thank you for being part of this partnership, and hope that history will be kind to all of us as we pursue this national mandate of reviving our textile industry. I thank you all.
Thank you very much. Textile industry on the right footing. If you could recall previous administrations, when they wanted to take textile to the higher level, they followed a bad step and everything crumbled around the management of the textile industries. So a lot of money was given to them. I'm sure up to now that money has not been returned, and no progress so far. But the strategy you have adopted now, taking it from the bottom, moving gradually to the top, that is the only way we can revive the textile industry. Let me give you an example. In order to revive the textile industry, we need to follow the steps. And once we miss any step, you know what happens if you miss a step. You may have a broken leg, a broken head. Now we are starting with cotton, production of cotton. That is the first step that we need to do. What does it take to provide the required cotton, the long filament cotton, not the traditional cotton that we can produce, which does not even synchronize with the modern machineries that are being produced all over the world. So I congratulate you for this. We are discussing the production of cotton and all what it takes to produce cotton. That will be discussed by the technical people. And then the next step is the ginnery, to revive our ginneries so that the cotton that is being produced can be converted into lint. And then the next is the spinning, so that the lint is converted into yarn, into thread. This is a step which we cannot afford to miss. And the next one is weaving, to provide the materials that we are all proud to be wearing here. These materials are woven materials. You can only get these woven materials from yarn, from thread, and sometimes even from from ships. And also we produce T-shirts, pants. They are all from this one. The next one, you go to the garment to cut it into shape, into design that will be proud that it fits your body. So tell me, how can you do all this if you miss any step along the line? All this is cotton from the farm. And in order to follow these steps, you need strong institutions. That was what the Governor of Central Bank was telling us, the problems. You need strong institutions, you need strong Ministry of Finance that will ensure that there is appropriate fiscal policy in order to create an enabling environment. Strong central bank, the anchor borrower and many other things are being created by the Governor of Central Bank. You need a strong bank. That's why we say strong institution. Custom, if they open the gate, every rubbish in the name of textiles is brought to Nigeria. Our farmers, our manufacturers cannot sell, and then the farmers, nobody will buy their products. Then the issue of power, infrastructure. If there is no power, that is another thing. How can they produce? Plant and machinery is not absolutely necessary. And most importantly again is the management. Even if you have everything, if your management is bad, you cannot make it. What I'm trying to say is that all the steps I have mentioned, all the institutions I have mentioned, there must be coordination and they must be perfect. There is no sidetrack about it. We must ensure that there is full coordination, everything works well, that is how we succeed. But if there is any part of it that is weak, you can easily notice in the production line. So our governor, thank you very much for creating this enabling environment. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Executive Governor of Kaduna, and Executive Governors of Kaduna and the Jigawa states will appreciate if they can actually strike a pose for a group photograph. Please.
Sorry. 2, 1, 0. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you. Let's appreciate the Executive Governor of Kano State, the Deputy Governors of Jigawa and Kaduna, and the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria.